Hey, yo, welcome to Gary and Peanuts. I'm your host, Blacks, BKA Blacka, BKA Sweet Child, BKA Yaoundé City's own 231, 237, c'est comment les frères? How? Pour mes gars dehors, salam. Pour mes sœurs de dehors, paix, force et courage. So, today, we're going to be discussing the United States Supreme Court's decision around the gerrymandering issue. I want to start today's discussion by a quote by Thomas Wolfe. He's a constitutional lawyer and strategist. His quote goes as this: "The Supreme Court ruling in this term's partisan gerrymandering cases is a stunning abdication of the court's responsibility to protect voters' constitutional right." See, when we talk about this issue in America, we have to understand that we're talking about something that was predictable. What I mean by this is a direct result of the shameless partisanship displayed by the Republican Party in American society. See, this issue is problematic in a myriad of ways because voting rights are civil rights. And when we talk about those type of wounds in America, we're talking about wounds that many think have closed and wounds that many more would prefer to pretend don't even exist. See, voting rights in America are fundamentally a racial issues. It's for the simple fact that the hardest brunt of the restrictions around access to voting have been borne by America's black population, who, unlike what some school books from Texas would have you believe, not here by choice. See, when conservatives use the terms state rights, they're referring to a set of entrenched mechanisms and leverages that, given American politics, call it a right-leaning slant, to not talk about outright trickery. What I mean by that is this: Republicans control 27 governor's mansions. Out of the 7,383 legislative seats available in all America, 3,830 of them are held by Republicans. That's 52%. Now, this may seem simple enough, but you also got to remember there are 30 states where Republicans control both the Senate and the House. And out of the 98 total state houses in America, Republicans control 61 of them. That's 62%. See, when we talk about this ruling, we have to get somehow specific. See, this case was about what's known as extreme partisan gerrymandering. This is where a political party uses a process to net and entrench an unbreakable legislative majority that wouldn't happen without unusual manipulation of the electoral map. We're talking about only a handful of states on a congressional level. Now that the floodgates have been opened, though, and the courts have decided to remove themselves from the process of justice, what avenue remains? The court itself admitted that gerrymandering was a partisan issue. And then, it kind of shrugged at it. The reason I think it's because this is part of a larger conversation about the future of belonging in America. I mean, how much of a constitutionalist can you be when the original document only considered you 3/5 of a human being, right? The basic power that occupies the American psyche is a racial one. Some attempt to dress it up and throw different types of flower of it, but at the core, conservatism in America, there's talks of maintaining a hierarchy of way of being, going back to something that was great that needs to be made great again. But when you know America's original sin, you begin to wonder which part of the hierarchy did they mean. Still, the fight continues. The court are no longer a viable avenue. As such, voting itself must become the battle. Many are quick to dismiss this route. But once you understand what a super voter is and that 77,000 people across a few states got Trump elected, you begin to wonder why people always want to do the difficult task first. Like, before asking the system to change, doesn't it seem plausible to put in change makers that could implement the change? I mean, It's easy to spout about a revolution, but it's more complicated to convince voters to never show up to show up. And until we could do that, the game's gonna be the game. But you know,